Los Angeles, it's the USA Medical Podcast. And here's your host, Jay Crossman.
Oh, settle down. Settle down. Welcome on back. My name is Jake. This is the only live health podcast in Glendale, California, I think. My name is Jay Crossman. I'm a health coach, certified nutritionist, really a health enthusiast. And I do this podcast to try to help share my health knowledge with you. Today, I'm starting with a retraction. On the last episode, I said that there is no nutritional need for fiber, and I misspoke. I was speaking about insoluble fiber. That's in my head. When I said fiber, I meant insoluble fiber. But soluble fiber or prebiotics, I even in that episode mentioned how important prebiotics are, which is soluble fiber. So I stand by what I said. There's no nutritional need for insoluble fiber. And anyone who says we need a certain amount of insoluble fiber is just incorrect based on the data, based on what we know. But soluble fiber, absolutely. And you can get it from bananas. Great. Bananas are one of the most unbelievable sources of natural prebiotic fiber. And honestly, one of the easiest ways to get the prebiotics and the probiotics you need, I mentioned last episode, a shake, like a milkshake that has prebiotics from kefir or kefir. I'm going to keep pronouncing it kefir because it gets me more comments when people hear me pronounce it wrong. Kefir in a banana has all the probiotics and the prebiotics from the banana that your gut needs. So it's a great shake. I actually add egg yolks. This is fun for you guys. I used to always talk about my favorite gut health shake, which was raw eggs, banana, and kefir. And I've recently realized, as a nutritionist, I'm always doing more research, and I've recently realized that you should never drink raw eggs, not for the reason you might think. I used to think, people are so worried about salmonella, but there's no real chance of it, blah, blah, blah. The issue with raw eggs is that there's a protein called avidin in the raw egg whites. And avidin needs to be denatured for it to be processed by your body properly. Denaturing takes place when you heat something up. That's what heating and cooking does. It denatures proteins. But the problem is, even though we can consume avidin raw, and it's actually, I still have no issue with raw egg whites or raw egg yolks individually. The problem is raw egg yolks have vitamin B6. They actually have tons of vitamins. And I still stand to you should never cook egg yolks, or at least leave them as raw as possible, because all those vitamins, all those micronutrients need to stay in their as natural state as possible. But egg whites need to be denatured. If you don't, the avidin from the egg white and the B6 bind to each other and they become insoluble. Your body can't digest them. So I used to drink a raw egg shake. Basically, half of the avidin would bind with as much of the B6 as it could, and my body would not get access to that B6 or that avidin, that protein. So now what I do is I separate my eggs out. I do I put the egg yolk and blah, 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 blah. And then I put the egg yolk in the shake. So the egg yolk plus the kefir plus the banana becomes this amazing multivitamin shake with all kinds of protein from the kefir and the egg yolks, tons of multivitamins from the egg yolks, and then tons of prebiotic, that soluble fiber that our body does need from the banana. So that shake is a complete shake. It's complete protein. It's complete vitamin, complete mineral, complete profile with probiotics, with immune support. So that shake I take almost every day. I should take it every day. I have not had it today. What time is it? It's already 7:30 p.m. Can you believe it? Look at this studio. It's always the same. It's always the same time of day in this studio, whether it's 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. That thanks to big, bright white lights that make my blue eyes hurt. Anyways, if you want to have good, proper gut health, it's important to get that prebiotic fiber. I misspoke when I said there is no need for fiber. I meant there's no nutritional need for insoluble fiber. I almost misspoke again. No need for insoluble fiber. And anyone that says there is just doesn't understand human biology. Why would we need something that we can't digest? And people say, oh, it's to clean out your guts and blah, blah, blah. There's no data to support that. Your guts, your body can clean itself in a variety of ways, and insoluble fiber does not help. In fact, it might hinder gut process and hinder how your digestive tract does its job. So, but let's get into it, okay? Let's talk about fiber for a second, because I think that, we'll break down fiber today. Why do I believe insoluble fiber is not necessary? Good question. Let's take a look at this real quick. Thanks, Jake. Science says that insoluble fiber is required for 3 reasons. 1, to increase stool bulk. 2, to decrease digestion time. That doesn't sound good. And 3, less sugar absorption. Again, because of that decreased digestion time. Back to you, Jake. So what did we learn? Here's the deal. Insoluble fiber is medically necessary. That's what they say. For 3 reasons. 1, to increase the bulk of stool. So you want to poop more? Hey, doctors. Whoever wrote that is so weird. Why do you want bulkier stools? Siri, can we laugh at this as like a community? You want bulkier stools? What a weirdo. Who wrote that? Next, it increases the time, or decreases the time rather, that it takes for your body to process nutrients. That means you're going to process and absorb less nutrients. If there's insoluble fiber, your body is going to try to get rid of it and move it through your GI tract as fast as possible so you don't absorb all of the good nutrients from the good food that you're eating. So first of all, bulkier stools, which I don't want, and faster digestion with less absorption, which I don't want. And then the third reason is less blood sugar absorption. If you just eat less sugar, you don't need fiber to try to absorb less of it, right? And again, it's forcing it through your gut so fast, your body absorbs less of it. So oh, great, we absorb less sugar. Yay, I can drink more Diet Cokes. No, just don't eat the sugar. You don't need the insoluble fiber. There's no need for insoluble fiber on a healthy diet. And that's proven by everyone that's done carnivore. I'm a big fan of Dr. Jordan Peterson, and he's an outspoken advocate of the carnivore diet. Both him and his daughter, I think, only eat carnivore, and they have for a very long time. I saw Michaela talk about how she only eats like 3 steaks a day. You're like, that's crazy. But they look great, very healthy looking people. You can't argue with results. So, I don't care what the literature, the medical dietitian approved literature says. There's no need for insoluble fiber. In fact, I would say that, again, it's actually a problem. I would say that insoluble fiber is actually bad for us, especially in the quantities that is recommended by healthcare experts. Are you kidding me? Healthcare experts. But I want to clear that up. I just wanted to get, and here's the thing. Fiber, like prebiotic enzymes, are required. We need prebiotic fiber. We need prebiotic soluble fiber. It's the fuel for our body's probiotics, for our bacteria. Our bacteria need to eat something or they die. So they eat prebiotic soluble fiber and they survive and they create more bacteria and they do their job. So your gut biome is an incredible ecosystem in of itself, and you do need to feed it with healthy bacteria. By the way, if you don't get probiotics and you don't feed them properly, your gut biome dies, and you have a harder and harder time digesting food to the point that you actually end up developing things like IBD and IBS and Crohn's disease. Why? Because when you don't have those probiotics, those bacteria, those healthy bacteria, your body can't really digest food properly, and it falls into inflammation and disarray and disease because you don't have those probiotics, those healthy bacteria, and its necessary nutrients to digest food. So I highly recommend get some type of probiotic every day, whether it's fermented foods like kefir or kimchi or sauerkraut, or yogurt works too. Yogurt is probably the least of them all, but there's still probiotics in yogurt, so get that if nothing else. You can get prebiotics from bananas, onions, artichokes are great. There's not a huge amount of prebiotic fiber sources, believe it or not. There's a lot of insoluble fiber sources, which are bad, but make sure you're getting bananas every day or onions. I love both bananas and onions. And I think, and raw or denatured. The rawer, the better on the onions and the bananas. But if you're going to eat eggs, make sure you cook the whites. That's super important. Denaturing the protein. I want to talk real quick about, there's a guy I follow named Solbra, who I love everything he talks about for the most part, but he's really into raw food eating, and I just can't get behind it. You know, as a nutritionist, again, understanding what denaturing does, understanding the need for denaturing certain proteins. And I'm learning a lot of this. This is new information I'm learning because I used to drink raw eggs every day. But I understand now more about the need for denaturing, the need for, again, you're going to get vitamins from different sources, right? You don't need to cook an egg yolk. There's no need for it. So that's fine. Have a raw egg yolk or gently cook it and have a ruddy egg yolk. But you can't cook proteins to the point that they are no longer proteins. And you can definitely cook vitamins and other, living bacteria, probiotics, enzymes. These can all be cooked to a point that they're destroyed, no question. But amino acids, actual protein, it's really hard to overcook them because they are the protein. So definitely all things are better nearer their raw state. But, there's definitely a need for cooking proteins, especially certain proteins that can bind to healthy vitamins, healthy minerals. A great example of a protein that needs to be cooked again is avidin. If you take avidin, if you eat that protein with something that has vitamin B6, they bind together in your body and they literally cannot be digested. So that's a great example of why sometimes we do have to cook protein. There's certain protein like fish. There's no nutritional benefit to cooking fish like salmon, right? There's nothing in that salmon that's going to make it better by cooking it. In fact, you're going to destroy a lot of the omega-3 fatty acids, the EPA and DHA omega-3 fatty acids, if you cook it or cook it too much. So raw salmon, like sushi, and rare salmon is much better than heavily cooked, well-done salmon. Again, the proteins won't change, but you will lose out on that omega-3. Again, there's a wide spectrum of how cooking affects foods, and none of this is taught in any school anywhere. Like, nobody knows how to cook based on food science, right? Except for my one friend who's a food scientist, So, I guess today's episode, the point is that we do need prebiotic fibers and to get them, and that, your gut requires a wide array of healthy, nutritious foods, both for your body to heal your body and for your gut, right? The probiotics, the prebiotics, your gut literally needs those to be your gut. And your gut is the second brain, right? Your gut-brain axis is all one thing. People think of their brain and gut as separate things. They're really, really not. They are biologically intertwined. Your gut produces the same style hormones that your brain does. It produces the same reaction, the same feeling. And that's why, depression can feel like, gut pain. Anxiety can feel like gut tension. Stress can feel it in your gut. It's all connected. The gut-brain axis is all one thing. So if you want to feel better, feel mentally better, feel lighter, feel more at peace, you literally need to heal your gut. Your gut needs to be healthy. And health just looks like more probiotics, more prebiotics. And in some cases, in cases of ulcer or GERD or other severe gut problems, there are healing tools like cayenne pepper, like apple cider vinegar. The goal is to limit or stop damage and then replenish the bacteria and let your gut heal itself. But my name is Jake. I'm a health coach. I love talking about health. If you want to have a conversation, leave me a comment or go to usamedical.com and click on health coaching. By the way, I love talking about a wide variety of health topics. If you want to talk to me or have a podcast, I'd love to be part of your show or your time. So go to usamedical.com and contact me on the contact page or the health booking page. Again, my name is Jake. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you next week. Ciao.